Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now we're gonna do a little bit something different today. I guess I feel I've been a little bit too scripted in my reviews. I mean, I definitely have points that I wanna make sure that I cover, but I have a format that I've been using for a while. I mean, it seems to work pretty well, but I want a little bit more of my personality to come through on these reviews. I think I've just been a little bit too robotic, especially in the beginning of the reviews. So we're gonna mix that up today, and if I make any mistakes, mispronounce a name or a model number or a word, that's just gonna have to be the way it is. So anyway, what we have today is we have the Casio G-Shock Glide 200-meter solar atomic surfer, and this is model number GWX5600WA-7. And like I always say, you know the drill. We're gonna open it up, look at the fit and finish, the features and the functions, the build quality, and then I give you my take on this really nice Glide from Casio. Also, make sure you check out my Amazon page for this and many of my other favorite watches. I'll make sure to include a link in the description field for you. So here you go. This is the Casio watch box. So let's take a look at this thing. I'm really hoping I don't screw up on this video, but I probably will. Anyway, let's take a look at this thing. All right, there you go. We've got the typical Casio G-Shock canister there. Let's get this other stuff out of the way. All right, let's take a look at this thing, see what's inside here. All right, you have got, I'm guessing this is probably, yep, the warranty card. A little piece of, I don't know what this is, foam, I guess. A whole bunch of boring manuals that nobody really cares about, and the watch itself, which I will now turn right side up. There you go. Let me wipe this thing off real quick. See, I told you, totally unscripted. All right, playing with fire here. All right, and I'm thirsty, so I'm gonna have a sip of the sweet one. Hold on a second. God, I love Diet Dr. Pepper. Ugh, love it. All right. Now this thing has got a crap load of features, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put them up on the left-hand side of the screen. I'm gonna try to fit them all in this one little area right here. So anyway, here we go. You're looking at a 49 millimeter resin case. It's 13 millimeters thick. It's on a, it's 47, see, I just screwed up. It's 47 millimeters lug to lug. It is on a 20 millimeter resin strap. It's 200 meters water resistant, which of course is 660 feet. It does have a mineral crystal. It's got the 3222 solar movement with about a 10-month power reserve if you take it totally out of light and don't recharge it. It's got atomic timekeeping, a moon data and tide graph, world time auto EL backlight, which stands for electroluminescent, by the way, 4 alarms, a stopwatch, a countdown timer, a power indicator, a power save function, and an auto calendar pre-programmed until 2099. So there you go. Now basically what this watch is, it's basically a GWM5600W-1 with the addition of a moon graph, which is actually over here, a moon graph and a tide graph right there. I have no idea how to read these. I think the moon graph, something to do with waxing and waning. You can basically tell if all the segments are filled in, I'm assuming that's a full moon. And if some of the segments are not filled in, it's like a crescent moon or a waxing moon or who knows, or whatever. Anyway, and then of course the tide graph, the big bulge means it's high tide, and the low sections mean that it's low tide. Not an expert, but that's basically what those two do. And again, this is just a basically that GWM5600W-1 with those two features added on it. Basically everything else is the same, and I'll put that watch up on the left-hand side for you. Super popular watch, one of the best-selling watches on Amazon, one of the best-selling watches Amazon, see, just screwed up again. One of the best watches that Casio, one of the most successful watches Casio has ever made. And that's basically what this is, with the addition of those two features and a surfboard style or color resin strap. This is made to look, now there's this one, and there's the surfboard, the more like wooden looking one. I'll put that over on the left-hand side of the screen for you. So there's that one, and then there's this one. There you go, 2 colors. Now, it's a great looking watch. The only problem with me personally, I'm getting a little bit older, and looking at this thing from normal like distance when I'm looking at my wrist, it's you know, all the writing's a little bit small to me. Now the actual digits, the LCD digits are fine, and the fact that it's a positive display, I love it. I can't stand negative display watches, just never been a fan, just my personal preference. The fact that it's a positive display, I can see Wednesday and the time and everything, but all this other writing right here is really kind of hard to see. Again, I'm old as hell. Well, I wouldn't say old as hell, but I'm older. And that all that tiny font and tiny printing is a little bit harder to see. So anyway, so let's go ahead and go through the basic functions. All right, over here you have your mode button. Lower left hand, see I just burped. God bless America, excuse me, sorry. Let's go through the functions. I told you, man, totally unedited, and I promise I'm not drunk. I just feel like I've been too scripted with these reviews, you know? So anyway, here we go. All right, so mode button. There's your basic time. There you go. What time is that? That must be, let me see, what does that do? Oh, tide. That's when the tide comes in or out, one of the two. That's your world time. And I think they have 31 different cities you can use for your world time, I believe. There's your alarm. You have 4 alarms, by the way. You also have a snooze button. This is your signal. Let me go back to that real quick. That's your hourly time signal where it says SIG right there. If I can get back to it. Did I pass it? I think I already passed it. Hold on. Time, world time, alarm. I think I'll go to SIG there. Signaling, that means that it's on right there. So basically you get an hourly chime. Every hour is going to go beep, and it's going to let you know that an hour has passed. Stopwatch, timer, and now you're back. Now if you notice, this says Virginia because I am in Virginia. The closest beach in Virginia to me is Virginia Beach. So there you go. Now I think there's tons of these programmed in there. Depending on where you live, I think it's gonna like find the closest city or closest beach to you. Again, not an expert. This thing has got so many functions and features. It would literally take an hour-long review to go through everything. So anyway, so there's that. And then what else I want to show you? Let's just start clicking buttons and see what happens. All right, that's just your light, and I'll demonstrate that here in a minute. Over down here on the right-hand side, I think this is your atomic timekeeping function. And when you press it once, it shows you the last time that it got the time. So it looks like this thing got the time on the 17th. Is that right? At 4:18 p.m. on the 17th. Yep, that looks right. And then if you press and hold it, that's when you can do a manual time, like you're trying to get the atomic time, a manual time set, a manual atomic time set. This is going to try 6 times during the day. If it succeeds in one of those, it won't try anymore. But the best time to get the atomic time, I've never had a problem with it, but I have my watches facing west because the atomic clock, of course, is in Fort Collins, Colorado. So have your watch facing west. If you're on the East Coast, have it facing east if you're on the West Coast. And if you're in the middle of the country, I don't know, have it facing north if you're south of Colorado and south if you're north of Colorado. Does that make sense? Anyway, but I always have it facing west at about a 45-degree angle, and that's what Casio actually recommends that you do. In the middle of the night, that's normally when it gets its reception. About 12 o'clock on my Rangeman, I get it at about 12 o'clock. I think it's like 12:04 every night without fail. I get my atomic timekeeping, and I love that. I love atomic timekeeping. I love solar-powered watches, and I like this one except for the font's a little bit too small for me to read. So we went through the functions. What's over here? All right, that tells me the city that I'm in. Actually, I'm not in Virginia Beach, but that's the closest beach to me. And I think if I just let it go, it's going to go back to the day, I believe. Yeah, it goes back to Wednesday. And as you can see on here, it tells you everything. If you look, you have your, God, this thing is hard to read. All right, hold on a second. Man, this is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed, guys. All right, here we go. So you're looking at a snooze, alarm, and then signal. So you can see where the signal is highlighted. That means you're getting the hourly signal. This right here is low, medium, high. It means the battery's at a medium level. So you're looking at probably 4 or 5 months that it'll last on this current charge. It says water resist 20 bar, which is 200 meters. Tough solar right above the G-Shock here. Start, stop for your stopwatch. Up here, you're looking at multi-band 6. Casio, shock resist. And I can't read what that says. Moon and tide, split and reset. There you go. Now let's look at the rest of the watch. right. Typical resin strap. You know, kind of stiff. It's not, you know, those nice rubber or kind of neoprene or latex straps that you get on some watches. Pretty stiff. You're looking at your case back. Now you look at the case back. This one's a little bit different. It does have 4 screws on it, but it's got this circular ridge that just makes it really cool. Of course, you have all the laser etching on the case back there, and it's got that circular edge right there. Looks really cool. I've never seen one where the middle part is so pronounced. Normally it's just kind of like a stamped metal, all flat case back. And I guess this one just helps it, you know, sit off the wrist just a little bit. You're looking at your buckle, which is unsigned. You have a clear keeper on here. And while we're at it, let's just go ahead and try this thing on real quick. And then I'll give you a loom shot. Now this also has, I've also enabled the auto backlight, which means if you tilt it more than 15 degrees, the backlight is going to come on. And how it knows is that it can detect whether the solar panel in here is receiving light. Now the best way to, and I'll get off on a little tangent here, the best way to charge a solar watch is in direct sunlight. Now I'm not saying leave it on your dash, because you'll probably make the module malfunction because it'll just get too hot, especially in summertime. But you want to expose this to direct sunlight when and if you can. About 24 hours of direct sunlight is going to charge your battery till its 10-month capacity. Just kind of keep that in mind. It will charge in incandescent light, which are the old light bulbs. It will charge in these these compact fluorescents. That's the studio light that I have. But the best way to ever charge a solar watch is in direct sunlight. Just wear it out on a sunny day for a couple days, and you should be good for your recharge. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill the studio light, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tilt my wrist. Boom. There you go. That kind of nice, real teal green. And this is set to stay on for 3 seconds. You can set it from 1 second to 3 seconds. And of course, that does kill your battery a little bit. Not as much as like those tiny, tiny LED lights in there, in some models. But there you go. Really, you know, clear. I can see it clear as day. It's just all that writing on the dial. It's just tiny, man. Anyway, so there you go. So let's turn the studio light back on. And I'm trying to think of anything else I might have not told you or forgot to tell you about this watch. That's really about it. I mean, I like it. I like these kind of summery white watches from G-Shock. Now, there are a couple different versions of this watch that look just like, I don't want to say just like this. They don't have the tide and moon graph, but they look very similar, especially there's another Glide model that looks just like this. In fact, I'll put that up on the left-hand side of the screen. I don't know what model that is. I'll find out for you. And then there's another one that looks just like this, minus the solar power and the atomic timekeeping. So this is the one you want. If you want to, you know, if you're a surfer, you go to the beach a lot, this is definitely a great watch for you because you do have that, moon data and that tide graph right there. So this is a really, really popular watch among surfers. Not that I've seen a lot of surfers or know any surfers, but it gets rave reviews from those different websites. And it's just a great looking watch. I like that white resin strap. The kind of surfboardy look, you know, the lines, I mean, you know, whatever. Not a big deal. I definitely like this one more than I like the one that looks like a wooden surfboard. So anyway, so that's really about it. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description field for y'all to check this thing out as well as the price. Check it out over Amazon. Also, make sure you check out my Amazon page for this and many of my other favorite watches. I've got a ton of them on there now. And you can basically, just about every watch I've reviewed is on my Amazon page. So if you like a watch I reviewed, head over to my Amazon page. I obviously put a link in the description field for you so you can check that out. And, you know, make sure you like and subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. And guys, I'm trying to think of anything else. I got a couple really cool homage watches coming up pretty soon, and a really nice budget solar watch coming up in the next week or two. So anyway, guys, that's been about it. Again, this has been the Casio G-Shock Glide 200-meter solar atomic surfer, model number GWX5600WA-7. And that's about it. Until the next review, I will see y'all later.
I'm like, it was a